Good morning, you guys. It's Tuesday, February 18th, and I'm going to catch you up on what I've been up to for the last couple of weeks. Monday, February 3rd, we were getting my oil changed and we stayed at the world famous haunted Clown Motel. That was our third time staying at the Clown Motel in the last year. I really enjoy it every time we go. It was a lot of fun. We went through the gift shop. We went through the cemetery. We live streamed all night in the motel room, trying to catch spirits on the ghost hunting tools to see if they would talk to us, see if we would get any information or get any kind of like noises or anything. We had pizza, we joked around. Something really exciting happened on the YouTube front. I got monetized, and that's really exciting. So I didn't think the monetization would go through until maybe March. So we've now officially been monetized for 2 weeks, and it's really exciting. So I turned on the memberships, I turned on the super chats, and I turned on the advertisements for my videos. So you guys will see that on my YouTube channel. If you guys want to join a membership, the information is up on the screen here. We have 3 tiers. We have the mashed potato tier, we have the postcard splooter tier, and we have the heavy splooter tier. If you guys become members on the postcard and the heavy splooters tiers, those 2 top tiers, you receive a postcard in the mail from me every month. I'm designing custom Clover postcards. On Tuesday, we left the Clown Motel and I took us to some hot springs that are nearby. The hot springs ended up being a bust. It was very windy, the signal was choppy, and there were people at the hot springs. And so I just did not feel comfortable filming the people. There was a guy in there with his shirt off. There was a girl in her swimsuit. I just did not feel like they belonged on the live stream. I wanted to give them their privacy. And so I decided to leave the hot springs and take us over to Rhyolite Ghost Town. So Rhyolite Ghost Town is this really cool spot. There's all of these abandoned buildings, there's a labyrinth, there's sculptures. It was really cool. So I did that as a video, not as a live stream. That was our second time going to Rhyolite. I had taken us there last year too. I really love those ghost sculptures. It's just a lot of fun. And then that night we went boondocking on some BLM land outside of Beatty. There's some BLM land in between the Rhyolite Ghost Town and Beatty. So I camped there. I had such an eerie feeling all night. I did not like camping in that spot. It was perfectly fine. There was actually a good, there was not a good signal. You know what? I had to be on Starlink there. So there was not a very good signal. There was still phone reception and I could surf the internet, but for live streaming purposes, I needed to be on the Starlink. Really beautiful spot. Far enough away from the highway that you don't really hear the highway, but if you look over, you can kind of see the highway in the distance. And in the morning, I was rewarded by donkeys. It was really cool. So I put out this really cool donkey video and I got to pet a little wild donkey. And then from there, I took us to Death Valley National Park. I love Death Valley National Park. It is a really great one for if you enjoy hiking or just looking around at different rocks and stuff. I think it's probably really good for rock hounds if you're into that kind of thing. I don't really collect rocks or look at rocks. I know you're not supposed to take rocks from national parks, but if you're just into looking at them, last year when I went there, it had rained and there was a lake, and there was a lake formed from the rain on the salt flats, which is very unusual. I think it was the first time that had happened since the 70s, I think. And so Clover got to splash around in the water. There were beautiful wildflowers. This year, that was not the case. It had not rained. So there were no beautiful flowers. There was no lake. All it was just rocks. And so I took Clover for a nice little hike, and I decided that I want to get back into hiking. So my new thing now is going to places and hiking. I used to be into hiking a couple of years ago. And when I started live streaming on TikTok, I really just kind of stopped hiking altogether. We kind of focus more on camping now. So I'm more worried about setting up the camp spot, doing a campfire, cooking up some food versus going out and hiking. So I want to try to balance things out a little bit, maybe get back into shape and do some hikes. So anyways, we did a nice little hike at Death Valley. After Death Valley, we went boondocking out on some BLM land outside of Pahrump, and I bought some hair dye for me to color my hair. So I've colored my hair. It's looking really dark right now. That's just the lighting in the room that I have. But we went boondocking in Pahrump, and then I picked up some hair dye and took us to a motel room, and I colored my hair sea witch green. So in some lights, it looks almost like forest green like it does today. In other lighting, it looks very turquoise, very bright, very, aquamarine. And so out in the sunlight, when I go out into the light today, it'll look much lighter. I really like that. It's a nice little effect. So I will probably keep this color for a while. I'm really enjoying it. Then from Friday, February 7th, all the way up until Sunday, February 16th, I was at this campground. It was Boulder Beach campground at Lake Mead in Nevada, outside of Las Vegas. And it's right by the water there. It is inside of the park. Lake Mead is part of the national park system. So I was able to get in for free because I have my national park pass, and the campsites were $20 a night. I do not usually go to paid campgrounds for a few reasons. The main reason is the noise level that I create. So everybody around me is noisy. They've got their generators going. The kids are running around playing. The dogs are barking. But I am live streaming and I'm talking very loud. Everybody can hear me go, "Holy moly, thank you for the hand heart," and it's just kind of weird. And so I tend to prefer to either be, I usually just am out in the national forest, the Bureau of Land Management lands, the state trust lands. I'm out on public lands where I can kind of be in my own space and not worry so much about my disruption of other people. But this campground, it was nice to be in that energy, and I didn't feel like I was being too loud. There was a lot going on in that campground. There were over 100 people out there camping, just really having good vibes. I was able to use the Wi-Fi, and I didn't have to worry about driving around like a crazy person. I'm always driving around to all these different places. It was nice to just hunker down for a week or so and relax. And they had trash removal. There was a grocery store maybe 20 minutes up the road. There was like an Albertsons, so I could get firewood from there. I could get food to cook, ice. So everything was very convenient. We went on a really cool hike. We went on this I think it was like 8 or 9 miles. It's called the Old Historic Railroad Trail. And so I started at the Lake Mead Visitor Center, and I hiked us all the way to the Hoover Dam and back, and it was really neat. I did see a bighorn sheep. The live stream is posted under my live stream section. The first part of the hike, though, I didn't have a good signal, so I didn't live stream it. And then once we got to Lake Mead, once we got to the Hoover Dam, I live streamed the hike back. So the hike there is video, and then the hike back is live stream. And that particular trail is kind of neat because you go through all these old railroad tunnels, and you get to see the lake, and then you end up at the Hoover Dam. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. I also really like seeing the bighorn sheep, and I took some really cute pictures of Clover in front of the water too. Also on Friday the 7th, we started our book club. So I am reading this book. It is A Court of Thorns and Roses. We are on chapter 15. We've done 7 live streams so far with this book in the last couple of weeks. It's an interesting book. So we're reading this. Not every night, but a lot of nights I try to do this where I read a couple of chapters live on YouTube. So a lot of you guys ordered this book and have been following along. If you want to follow along, it's not too late. There's actually 44 chapters and we're only on chapter 15. There are replays available for you, so you can rewatch those live streams if you want to follow along. And so I was supposed to stay at this campground until this coming up Thursday, but I decided to leave the campground altogether. I canceled the rest of my reservation because there was a little disruption with my site. So the campground was full, so I had booked up until a certain point And then I was going to check out of my campsite and check into this next campsite that I had reserved. So I was staying in, I don't remember the camp numbers, you know, like camp spot 49, and I was supposed to go to 32 or something like that. That wasn't the right numbers, but I can't remember them off my top of my head. But I was leaving from one spot to another spot, and there was a family there, and there were lots of families there. I counted like 7 kids. There were a lot of kids in these few camp spots, and they all kind of had become friends, and I don't know if they travel together or what, but what ended up happening was I checked out of my camp spot. I hung out at the dumpsters for a little while because I was a little early. And then at the check-in time, the time that I was supposed to go to my site, I drive through, and the family is still there that is at my camp spot. And, you know, it's a big RV. They've got a ton of trash. There's camping chairs and bikes everywhere. And I think that's great. I think it's really great for families to go camping. I'm not trying to say there's anything wrong with that. The issue was that that happened to be my camp spot. So I was supposed to check in, and I didn't have anything to do with myself. And so I was like, I'm not very good at confrontation. So I was like, do I come up to them? There was like an older lady sitting in the chair, and this camping chair, and she's just kind of chilling, making no movement to clean up or get everybody loaded up or anything like that. And so checkout had passed, check-in had passed. I was like debating if I should go up to her and ask her what the plans were. I looked at the tag, and I could see that they were supposed to check out, because I was worried for a second that maybe I had misunderstood the dates or the camp spot number. So I rechecked my confirmation. I was supposed to check in there. So, you know, I didn't want to go up to them. I figured I could go to the campground host too. She's very nice. The campground host lady is very nice, and she would have handled it. But I was like, you know, I'm going to give them a little extra time. I'm just going to go get ice into town. And as I was driving out, I was like, why? I'm over this. I was like, I'm over this campground. I'm over this camp spot. Why am I staying here any longer? I want to do something else. So I was like driving to the grocery store, and I canceled the campground membership, or I canceled the campground reservation. So I actually got a refund. So it's fine. I lost like the deposit, which was $30. But so for the rest of the time, it was $80 that I had paid for the remaining nights until Thursday, and I got that back minus the deposit. So that was fine. So I felt like I had gotten a really good value there. I felt like I was able to get the work done that I needed to. We were able to have a lot of fun. So I was fine with all of it. I just wanted to move on. So I got it in my head. I was like, what do I want to do? I was like, I want to go to Florida. So I've got to set up for Florida this week. I'm driving to Florida. It's 2,300 miles or something like that. It's a little over 2,000 miles. We're going to drive to Florida and go camping in Florida. So I've got a campground reserved for a couple of nights already. I'm able to rent kayaks, and I really want to take us hiking and kayaking. So that's to come. It's going to take me a few days to get there. So I left on Sunday, made a little bit of progress driving, yesterday, Monday. Now we're into Tuesday, February 18th, and I still have quite a ways to go. So I hopefully we'll get there towards the end of the week. And so that's to come. So we are on the road to Florida. At the end of these weekly recap videos, I'm going to list all of the member names as a big thank you. I want to say a special thank you to all of the heavy splooters, the postcard splooters, and the mashed potatoes. You guys are amazing. Thanks for keeping the channel running. I hope everybody has a really great week, and I will see you later.